right, Madam Clerk, can we get a roll call?
Sure. Member Codling?
Here.
Member we have one vacant seat.
Procedures, all items on the agenda. Action is taken. To the record at the public meeting on any item are requested to prior to the meeting date, so that any material can be distributed to the committee. Speakers must restrict comments to the item as it appears on the agenda and stay within a 3-minute time limit. The chair has discretion of limiting the total discussion time for an item. As a courtesy for others, please turn off your cell phones and any other distracting devices. So let's open up public comment. City Clerk, is there anyone on Zoom who'd like to make a statement?
Chair, there are no hands raised on the Zoom.
Excellent. And there's no one here in the chamber. So let's move on to business item number 1, discussion of the 2021 trunk or treat. City Councilwoman Overton, do you want to take the lead?
Yes, we met with Tina. We're all good to go. We're starting to, as you know, Davidson and Over, we're starting to get vehicles registering. The plan is basically the same as it was last year. But instead of having a band, the pay station is just going to be playing Halloween music. We are planning on having some ribbons for costume contests for different age groups. And then I'm going to try to get a trophy for like the best trunk. We'll have a trophy for them. So, but everything's going good. I wanted to do food, but just don't have enough, it's thrown on me too soon, too short time, so I didn't get that. So we were gonna see if maybe we can have a vendor somewhere around. So I gotta go talk to some of the vendors that might be more reasonable prices. I can't have the $15 hot dog person. So, so he says, oh, don't get him, he's $50 for a hot dog. I was like, no, we can't have that. So I'm gonna try to see if we can have somebody around that might have some food, because it is a long process for the kids to wait. And when we did it at the youth center, we used to always have hot dogs and stuff for them, so that they didn't just have candy, but not able to, but I'm hoping we can incorporate that for next year. So.
What about the 2 vendors that set up on the corners of Happy Field?
The ones that just have the drinks?
I'm not sure
drinks,
exactly,
yeah.
but I know they sold some food as well.
Yeah, well, I was just gonna start hitting the vendors this,
Well, I think the guy out here, I think it's the gal out here, but she's pretty pricey. She's good, but pricey.
Yeah, we need to find somebody that's, that's the reason why I was just hoping to do it ourselves. Normally, we get all the hot dogs just donated to us and we barbecue them up, but I don't have, I can't dedicate to it because I don't really have a person that's gonna do that. It's kind of short time frame for even though we have a health permit, hot dogs really are, one thing about hot dogs, they're already cured, so they don't worry so much about those spreading anything. So they normally will pass those through really quick. So if something happens between now and next week, that's a miracle, then, we might have some food, but I wouldn't count on it. So, but I would like to find somebody that could do it, something, but, we'll just have to start talking. I might just talk to the store across the street there and, see what he says, because it is nice to have them go get something to eat, because it is basically at dinner time. The parade's gonna start at 4 o'clock, and we're just gonna have the kids parade around the park. We used to have them go down Lakeshore Drive, but since everything's here, we're just gonna have them parade around the park. So we'll start at the bandstand and kind of go around the park. And then, so I'm trying to find some judges that just wanna help judge, the costumes. And we'll give first, second, third ribbons to age groups from up to 5, and then from 6 to 12, and then 13 and older. I'm not gonna break it down into a whole bunch.
And you have this contest on the poster that you created?
Yes, we do.
I'll update the site. So I've been sending you some folks. Do you feel like you have enough vehicles at this point?
No, we need more vehicles.
Okay.
We need more vehicles. Last year we had 30. I have a list, and I'm thinking it's from last year, but I'm not sure. But I'm just gonna start calling those. Okay. And say, hey, see.
How you doing on candy?
Well, we did a nice drive. I don't know if you guys seen our post on Facebook where we did the Walmart and we did Grocery Outlet, and we pretty much ran grocery out of candy, so we closed. So we didn't want to take all their little boxes of candy, but it went really well. But we got, still haven't filled the truck, so we're talking, the Walmart said that if they didn't have anybody booked there, that we can go ahead and come up this weekend and do it. So we're gonna try to be there, hopefully, Friday and Saturday, if we can up there. And I know it's supposed to rain, but it doesn't look like it's gonna come downpour, so I think we'll be okay to do that, so, cause that's the best days to be up there, so. So hopefully we can, by the end of this week, we'll have a truck full. But, people need to bring their own candy too, we're not supplying all the candy for their trunks. We're just trying to help supplement, cause it does cost to give out that kind of candy. It costs money.
Make
so.
that clear to the vehicles, especially the ones that did last year, because I had brought my own candy, but then Dirk brought so much candy that it became irrelevant.
Yeah. Yeah. But yeah, well, definitely we're gonna put out, but we need to, I have been telling people,
Okay,
but
good.
I'm gonna call the people that have put up for the vehicles and, let them know that, they need to make sure that they're prepared for the candy, and if they need help, I need to know that they need help with it, and that way we can kind of be ahead of the game too.
All right,
So,
is there anything else you need right now? support-wise?
Volunteers and trunks, we still need to really push that, so.
Okay, I can certainly push that more. I was waiting on the poster to really push home, but now that I have that and the extra details on the contest, I'll push all this week. Anyone with any comments, thoughts?
Just to add to what she's doing, our poster contest by the Canocti School District kids, I pick up the posters Monday and then will be posted in businesses throughout Lower Lake, Clearlake Oaks, and Clearlake. And then I will also need judges on November 1st, to judge the contest and who the winners are. And I've got businesses giving some really cute little prizes
Cool.
for the kids, so.
Love it.
Safeway came through, I was really impressed. The new manager from Safeway is a Lower Lake Lakeport High School graduate,
Oh, cool.
and very, community-minded.
Excellent.
We haven't had a manager like that in a long time,
Yeah,
so it
no.
was nice.
Yeah, that's true. What we've been doing also with, like, people, if they can't donate, like, not everybody has enough money, it just is, that they don't have, so we put a donation can out. So every so often, once they know they have enough money to go in and buy the candy, we've been buying from the stores that have let us sit in front of their businesses, so.
Yeah.
So, cause they're supporting us, we wanna support them, so, when we got done at Grocery Outlet, we went in, well, as time went on and they knew they had enough money to go buy 4 or 5 bags, they'd go in and buy 4 or 5 bags, but then when it got down to they only had like 5 bags left, I felt guilty about taking their 5 bags. So, it's like, I don't wanna do that, so, same at Walmart, about every couple of hours when they knew they had enough, they'd go in and then they'd purchase the items at the store, so it's kinda they're giving to us, we're giving back, so, they're letting us do it, so that's how we've been doing that. So they can still donate monetary money, so businesses can and stuff, so we're just taking that money and we're gonna just buy candy with it. We've had some businesses that have donated some money, so,
Excellent.
yeah.
Do you need anything aside from judges for your contest right now?
No,
Okay.
thank you.
Any questions or comments, Stephanie? All right, any public comment on this matter? And do you have a poster or some type of material on the contest?
I will get it to you, I didn't bring one, I'm sorry.
No, that's fine, that's fine. If you could
You
just
want me to
send that.
send it to you?
Yeah, please.
No one on the Zoom has their hand raised.
Wonderful. All right, so then I think the big push over the next week and a half here is to really promote it, get more volunteers, get more vehicles. Let's get the word out. I know there is a couple of other events going on around the area, which is great. It's good to see everyone's starting to do this stuff again, so people are looking.
Yeah.
It's actually.
We have a
good
lot of
marketing
trunk or
for us.
treats. Well, we were the first trunk or treat that did this years ago. And, it actually was Jerry Spittler's idea, but then she got mad and walked off with it, so the youth center picked it up. Yeah, well, if she wanted to do some things, I understand her point too. She wanted to do it all the way down Lakeshore Drive, and they just didn't feel like they could close off Lakeshore Drive for that many hours. And I kinda understood that, so that's how we ended up picking it up. But it was a good idea, but now I see that different people are picking it up to try to keep the kids into certain areas, and I love that idea, so I think it's been good. But again, Clearlake first. So.
All right, let's move on to business item number 2. We haven't talked about this much, but the 2021 Christmas parade. I wanted to get this top of mind since it's already October.
So I will be creating the poster and getting it out probably early next week. I've already had people ask about it. So I'll get all that information to the schools and everything. I've gone to Lower Lake Action Group to make sure that their parade didn't conflict with ours. And they've come up, their Christmas parade for the Lower Lake Action and their tree lighting is gonna be Friday. And then ours is Saturday. And so I'm hoping that people do theirs on Friday, will join in to ours on Saturday, cause they've already done
Already have the floats.
and everything.
Yep.
Yeah, that's good, yeah.
And that's one of the things, I don't believe Clearlake Oaks has anything planned other than their tree lighting ceremony. I've talked to, I haven't talked to Sue Burton, but I have talked to Jim Jonas, and sadly, just typical, a lot of the Oaks business merchants are elderly, and COVID's kept them kinda combined a little bit more, so. Anyway, I'm just trying to keep the relationship between our neighboring communities and us, so we don't conflict on dates,
Right.
having events on the same time.
And ours is on,
The first Saturday, which is
The 4th?
The 4th.
okay, and that's the same time we're having the Christmas, in Clearlake? They're doing that at the same time?
What is the Christmas in Clearlake? I know
Okay,
nothing
so
about it.
that's what I was wondering, was like, Elizabeth Kelly, who's the pastor for the, police department, her, she knew I wanted to do this festival thing, so, her and I've been working on, she's been doing most of the work. I just paid for the carriage, cause we wanted to make sure. But yeah, that's on, December the, 4th at Austin Park, so, from
but I
11 to
still don't know what
6.
From 11 to 6.
Yeah, so,
But what
It's-
is
She's
it?
put in her application to have, an event at Austin Park. So,
right, so,
But
but
what
I
is
don't
she
know that,
doing?
have you turned in the
It's-
application for the parade?
I haven't, I have to get with Tina and get that in.
so she's doing vendors, crafts for kids, gifts from local and visiting makers, face painting. She's gonna have a gingerbread house, contest. She's looking like she's putting it with the parade, lighting of the tree lighting ceremony. She's gonna have carolers.
So I need to,
She's gonna have, so you and I and her need to meet up and see, yeah.
that's the thing that's
'Cause
very
I-
frustrating, is that we've got conflicting events here. If you've got one organization
Right.
doing
I
it, we
don't
should be meeting.
I don't think it's conflicting. She's been talking about it for a while. We did let her know that typically the parade is on that day, but without an application or, really knowing what the plan is. She's been talking with Elizabeth, Tina has, and.
And I have, so.
So.
Yeah, but I don't think,
She does know, and it's meant to be in conjunction.
yeah, I think that's, cause she said, well, I have to find out what the time the lighting of the tree is, and, come on, we talked the other day.
And I don't even know where we're gonna do the lighting of the tree, what
It's
tree
always-
it's gonna be.
Well, it's always where the, except we don't have,
We don't have a
we
tree.
don't have that tree anymore, but I think last year it was just a smaller tree. I remember Denise complained about it.
I think that we did
Yeah, I don't think
a
we did
tree
it last year.
lighting last year.
Just
It
take
was
the,
the pole.
take the pole and
It was
you light the
the
tree and,
Yeah.
Can I
Well,
give her
hold on.
information?
Yeah,
Let's,
yeah.
so,
Yeah.
the tree lighting, that's typically a city event. Is that true, or is that a chamber event?
It's normally the chamber, the
It's
city
always-
has done it.
Okay.
I'm very proud of it because my dad donated the first Christmas trees here for the first 4 or 5 years, and then Rita Ushery donated them.
yeah,
And then the city started planting the trees that
Right.
died every year.
well, yeah.
Okay,
But they
so-
actually were right here in the parking lot.
So it sounds like the next step for this, we'll keep moving forward on the parade. If there's anything you need, please let us know. But
But I
it
just
sounds
need
like,
her
yeah,
contact
it sounds like a
information so we can-
conversation needs to happen here, because there's nothing wrong with people bringing extra energy.
Right.
It's just we wanna sync it all together, right?
Right,
That's
it's-
exactly right.
Yeah, let me just make sure she's okay with me doing that, so, but yeah, but I mean, when she just called me because I've been talking about doing a Christmas festival, and just wanted to do a Christmas festival, instead of just the parade and tree lighting, and somebody just told her to contact me because she started talking about it, so I just been kinda I'm just there, whatever she needs, so,
So from a recruitment standpoint for, I guess, both events at this point, is the chamber website gonna be set up for, float applications and things like that?
Probably, I can't get any help on that chamber website.
Do you want me to set that up on downtown Clearlake the same way I did for Trunket?
Yeah.
I would love it.
Downtown Clearlake, I think,
Yeah.
is a great, I mean,
Yeah.
that's so easy and
And
everybody
then
goes
if
there.
how good are you on, could you get onto my chamber
I
website if I give you access?
I cannot do, I think it's Drupal, right?
It is.
Yeah, I can't, I'm no good with Drupal.
Well, then we don't seem to be either, and neither does,
We
Yeah.
could talk about that. Same thing with the craft festival. Are you guys good with vendors? Do you wanna
She's
set up a
getting
page?
vendors, but yes, I asked her about, like, I wanna start advertising it, she's kinda like, oh, well, not yet, and I'm like, yeah, now is when you need to, so I'm kinda going back and forth with her.
Okay, so then have your meeting, definitely get on the same page. I'll work on an application portal for your folks. After that meeting, please let me know if Elizabeth wants something as well. And
Yeah, 'cause
seems
she
like we're on the
has
same page. Make sure
Yeah.
you get your permit in. That's a big thing.
I'll do it right now. I
Um,
think I already got the insurance for it. So, cause for some reason, I didn't think of permit, I thought of the insurance.
Hey, insurance is good too. We'll take insurance. Is there anything else at this point you think you need beyond just the coordination?
Just contact information, so we're on the same page.
Okay, excellent. And if you guys could report out, I guess that's kind of a gray area, but, if there's anything to share to the wider audience, let Alyssa know. All right, wonderful. Stephanie, any comments on that actually, before I move on?
No, I'm good with it.
Any public comments, City Clerk?
No hands are raised on the Zoom, Mr. Chair.
Thank you so much. All right, let's move on to number 3, discussion of the 2021 Great Holiday Light Fight. So this was something that Zabdinieri spearheaded last year. Thought it went really well, so we're looking to do it again this year. I think the only tweak that we want to change from last year to this year is the way the winners were selected. Last year we went for a very social media friendly approach where the winner was determined based on likes and shares. And then Nick Lambert figured that out and then shared it
Right.
300 times, which
Right.
good for him, but
So is that where you go where the houses are decorated?
right, so that's where the houses get decorated. This year we should have a ton of great photos and imagery from last year. We have a bit of a track record, so I do want to start advertising around the same time we advertise the parade
So
stuff.
I would like to incorporate something that I wanted to do kind of last year, but I couldn't get really anybody, but I've been talking to Kelly about this too, and kind of incorporating it in with all the Christmas stuff that's going on. Is I got a ton of Christmas stuff, and actually I talked to the past chamber person, and we were supposed to last year try to get all the businesses decorated up really good, and I was hoping to get the kids from the school to kind of help with that. But that kind of went away last year, but this year, Kelly's like, she's on board with it, and I'm hoping the chamber would be on board with it, and I just wanna go to all the businesses and see, like, do they need help decorating, do they need more decorations, do they need this, and really try to light up our Lakeshore Drive. So I'm thinking it would be really good to incorporate this with maybe this here, and we can call it Holiday Light Fight would be, just incorporate it with that. But I really wanna start talking to that's my next thing I wanna run.
Commercial and residential have two different, and that's how it used to
I
be.
mean, that's what I say, years ago they did that,
Commercial,
yeah.
residential.
And it was actually deck the walls.
Mhm.
Yeah,
That started, it was reinstated a few years ago, I wanna say 2018.
And it just seems like maybe I think some of the businesses it would be nice if we could get the kids incorporated to
So
say,
that-
here's some decorations, let's pick a building and see if the business owners will let them come and decorate.
yeah, I already discussed this, because you had mentioned that once
Mhm.
before. When I was going around with the Halloween posters, I only have one business that wanted the kids to come decorate. And my comment was, are you sharing their liability? So if a child's on a ladder.
Well, we probably would have to have an adult on the ladder.
Right, and that's the problem.
Yeah.
We're not gonna get teachers to come with the kids because the teachers all live in Riviera, Middletown. They don't live here in Clearlake.
Mhm.
So, I've already talked to businesses about decorating. that they decorate, but I also have, I'm gonna have the kids do the Christmas posters again, just like we did for Halloween.
Problem is they don't, there's just not enough
It
decorations
isn't
on there.
enough,
It's
but
just not
my
enough.
hopes are that if we get the posters out there, then they'll put lights around them. Does that make sense?
Mm-hmm.
If
Or
we can
maybe
get it
even
to-
if they don't want to let anybody come and decorate, maybe they just need more supplies. I have so many Christmas stuff that we could do,
So the other thing I'm getting, and I think I brought it up, is businesses wanna know what happened to our Christmas banners. Or why are there
I
not
don't have it in my trunk or
banners
treat
on
one.
them? Well,
I can't find it.
you're
anymore.
asking
Yeah.
the businesses to do it, and they're saying, how come there are no banners on, and they're expensive, the
Yeah.
chamber can't afford to buy them for businesses, and
Yeah, well, that was
the
a
city
Bruno
can't,
project.
but
I
if
don't
we
know what
did a
happened to it.
joint
That-
thing and bought
Yeah.
them, it's too late for this year.
Yeah,
This is one of those projects that I've been talking with Alan about in downtown strategies, that it is a priority. There's a rebranding, or I guess I should say, I don't know if it's a priority. There is a rebranding effort going on, and they wanna do that in conjunction with this. Last year, Bruno and I were talking about doing something simple on the light poles, like bows and things, and I think we've talked about this.
The
we
the
still can do
bows
that.
are $25 each.
Okay.
So it was not, and then you have whoever's gonna put them on. So it wasn't like we can get something for $2 or $3. I looked at the bows big enough to put on light posts. These were without lights, just simple bows that wrapped, $24 each.
But Joan,
Can you send me that link?
Yeah.
it seemed to me that was like online.
Matter of fact, it might be in my car still. I think I have
Okay.
brought it.
That doesn't sound crazy to me if they're able to persevere in the weather, right?
And
So-
be used year after
Yeah,
year.
yeah.
And I know that at one point in time, we had talked about flags on the flagpoles,
Right,
you know,
yeah,
and
right.
so being holiday
Holiday themes.
Yeah.
Well, like they do
Yeah.
in Lower Lake and
Mhm.
Lakeport
Yeah.
and Middletown.
So like I said, that's what we're talking about, the rebranding
Yeah.
and downtown strategies.
So
So I don't have a
that's-
timeline on that.
Yeah, and so all I can tell you in talking to the businesses, that's the response I'm getting back.
All right, so,
Yeah.
so let's do this. Christmas bows, I'm all for. I'll take care of that. If you send me the link, we will do that at a minimum, if we don't do something else in that timeframe. Being the banners, the banners would be, I guess, the alternative. I don't know if that's gonna be ready by Christmas, but I think the bows are a simple thing and they're reusable. We can do that, more of that. The holiday light fight, the residential side, if we do wanna do a commercial side, I wanna promote it at the same time. I want it to be
Exactly.
a conjoined effort.
Mhm.
I don't feel like we have a tangible plan here yet. So I don't know what the next step is.
Well, if you're gonna promote the, great light fight is, have just two divisions, say one's commercial and one's, residential.
Are you comfortable with that?
So what,
Because,
so I guess maybe one of the things too is what do they get for, they're getting a trophy, they're getting a.
so
what,
last year we gave out gift certificates to local restaurants. It was kind of like the COVID, we
Yeah.
wanna support our local business.
Right,
We can certainly do that again on the residential side.
I actually would differ with you. You know what I think they would like? Gift certificates for businesses, not.
Well, that's what I was gonna say. For the commercial side, what would you suggest?
A trophy or plaque that goes from business to business. So the winner would get a trophy. I've already checked Kevin Ness and make them up, and,
Like a perpetual
a
trophy, so it
perpetual
goes.
trophy, and so whoever wins gets it that year, and the next year they could keep it if they win again, otherwise it goes, and it's something displayed, it could even be a plaque. They're kind of expensive, you do a plaque where there's names actually on each business that has
Yeah.
participated.
That's
However, you're going to get a competition between businesses.
what we want, right?
And, they don't care about gift cards, your business is after.
I think they want a nice big trophy to sit there wherever they can see everybody
Well-
says, look what we did. I think that's what I would want.
I like the plaque better
Yeah.
only
Mhm.
because it goes on a wall,
Right,
yeah,
Well, it can be
versus a
both.
trophy.
There can be perpetual
Yeah.
trophies, right?
Yeah.
That have like the Stanley Cup.
Yeah, that
have the plaque on
competition,
it.
is
I like
the
it.
type of thing, instead of a gift card.
Can
Yeah.
you get me a photo of whatever you and Kevin choose before
Yeah.
next meeting? And then I can include that onto the commercial
and
division.
Joan, I wanna say, and
Yep.
committee, I wanna say that it seems to me that we have also had sponsors and given out money to the winners, like first, second, third
On the
place.
commercial side?
Yeah,
Mhm.
we have, but again,
I don't
you
think
know,
that's
I'm
their-
just trying to think that
Right.
it would be more fun for a plaque.
Yeah, oh, I totally agree. I'm just
Because
throwing that out there, that we've
I
done
know as
that.
a business
too.
owner myself, to just receive $100, I'd probably give it back to the
Yeah.
chamber and say,
Right.
here,
Yeah.
where the plaque, I can have that, you know.
Yeah,
We, even in my little office, we proudly display every plaque we've ever gotten.
Yep.
And I think most businesses, if you go in, have done the same thing.
I think it should be big and gaudy and have something that, bragging rights,
I
right?
think-
Like, that's the type of
I think the
character in
trophy,
district.
if we wanna do both, the plaque and the trophy, but I think the trophy, I love that we could set our trophy up, like from the Stars of Lake County, we get to sit that up there. And I think since it's only gonna be there for most
I can
likely
have
a
Kevin
year,
give me
yeah.
the links to it.
most likely a year, then I think that would be, and then, you know, maybe here's something that maybe after the Christmas, we can have a luncheon or something for all the participants and give the trophy, present the trophy and stuff at that time, you know?
It would be good maybe to do it at
Yeah.
a city council meeting and get
We
some
could
of
do
them
that
to
too,
come to
yeah.
meetings.
So,
They're more likely to come to a dinner, but, you know.
so just so we're super clear, the residential side, is, we're gonna call both the Great Holiday Light Fight.
Yeah.
The residential side, I'll secure the prizes for that. Does the chamber wanna run and organize the commercial side, and I'll just
I can
use,
do that.
we can use that as a I can create forms
Yeah.
for you and everything will be routed to you.
Yeah,
And then if you guys wanna do post-event award ceremonies and all that, it'll all be through the chamber, you'll get all
so
that
you
publicity.
also send me the link so I can get both out on our webpage too, and,
Right.
well, nothing's getting on our webpages.
That's a whole different problem. Okay.
Downtown Clear Lake, it's easy.
Yeah.
So I see 3 action items coming from this. We're gonna move forward with the residential side. We're including the commercial side, that's led by the chamber, and then Christmas bows. I will work on securing those at a minimum, that we'll have up before the parade.
If they can get them here, I'll see too, I'll,
Yeah, if you shoot me what you have.
yeah, they've been contacting me.
Okay. Wonderful. Anything else to add? Any public comment?
I, talked to you guys, it's not on the agenda, I talked to you at
Well,
last.
Let's just close this one out
Okay.
first.
There are no hands raised on the Zoom,
Won-
Mr. Chair.
Wonderful. Would this fall into agenda item 4?
I don't have agenda item four.
Discussion of area of focus for 2022.
This is kind of a broad, let's
Okay.
talk about big, all right, so let's go slide into that, and if what you want to show fits into that, I think this is kind of a big catch-all. So, you know, essentially, there's 4 of us, there's 5 of us. I want to be laser-focused next year on what we're going to try to
I agree.
accomplish. I feel like we all bring different strengths. I think we should really narrow what we want to deliver on, and then really deliver on it. So I wanted to use this as sort of a brainstorming session for 2022. Where do we want to invest our energy? We're going to have some of the events that we're already committed to, but unless we want to really focus on bringing new ones, we can stay committed to those. Do we want to focus? I'm not going to say anymore, actually. Let's just talk about what you see this committee doing in 2022 to bring value to this city. And I'm going to start with the co-chair.
Well, I feel that our focus in the past has been more on, not on events, but more on encouraging businesses, getting our name out there, I know that Tina went to this branding workshop that the radio station put on. I thought it was excellent. I mean, it really, really had some great ideas, how to get the word out. Because how many times, all of us sitting in this room, you said, oh, I didn't know that was happening. Oh, I didn't. And
All
also,
the time.
sometimes we do conflict. We're a small county with a bunch of, tons of nonprofits that are doing events and stuff like that, to say nothing about 2 cities and other towns that do events. So my focus, I think that we should focus on not producing events per se, farming them out, if anything, to other entities, coming up with an idea and farming them out, but getting the word out, and also focusing more on trying to encourage our city manager, et cetera, to the businesses that we would like to see, that we think would help bring people into this county, and particularly into this city. Because I think this city has a lot of potential that is just, it's just kind of sitting there. It's not really being used. So,
Okay, let me ask you a couple of clarifying questions. So encourage the city to recruit businesses that we would like to see. Right now, there's a big push at like retail, big box, you know, restaurants. Is there a subsection of that you'd like this committee to focus on? Or is there a whole different category you'd want to go down?
I think as a committee, maybe we should focus on a meeting on coming up with.
Just a brainstorming meeting,
Yes,
where we don't have
exactly,
a discussion
Joyce,
on
exactly.
everything else.
Yep.
Brainstorming meeting, I think at this time of the year too, that's actually a good idea to get ready for next year. I think we should have a brainstorming of what it is, that we want to, cause I see us as a marketing committee, not we're all concentrating on doing the events, because most of us do the events. But we really need to start bringing in other people's events and having them bring them to us so that we can help support their
Okay,
events.
so that's different from what the business thing first, because I have a question about that as well.
Yeah.
But I guess if we're recruiting businesses, what special skills do we have? What special advantages do we have that will allow us to do that effectively?
Well, I think, if nothing more, just, like I said, a brainstorming session to kind of figure out what types of businesses we think. A perfect example, you and I had a conversation, Joan and I have had a conversation, I can't remember, Joyce, whether we have or not.
We've talked about so many
But,
things, who knows?
On like things that we used to have in this town for not little kids to do, but young adults to do.
Okay.
Like slot machines, like just other types of things to attract that age group, to get them off of their social media stuff. Although I think that's really more teenage and 20s kind of group that seems to be spending all their time doing that.
Yep.
So.
Okay.
Actually, it's very interesting you said that, because just recently, just did a survey of the TID board's recent request for visitation to Lake County, and the average age group is in the 60s plus.
Yeah.
And for economic growth, to add to what you're saying is, the city should be looking to promote an economic, healthy business community. And I would think as a marketing plan, this group should be focused on finding the best economic resources available to help create new businesses. Just like you were saying, but use the city's resources for some of those things, maybe possibly coming up with grants for small business administration loans, coming up with, we talk about the banners, which is, I know that sounds stupid, but your businesses that are here want to see what the city's doing for them too. And so you're asking for, every time I go out there, I walked into a business the other day, and the first thing out of their mouth was, "What do you want from me now?" You know, and instead I was asking for their help, and I think he almost fell over. And I think that part of this marketing is building a relationship with your economic development businesses. It's one thing to plan events, but it's another to help the businesses grow. And, we want curb, gutter, and sidewalk, we want more lighting, we want this and that. And how do we, as a city, work with the businesses to develop a plan that is gonna allow for good, healthy economic growth. You're
Okay, so
not
that's the
gonna-
economic development,
Right, you're not
that's
gonna
not gonna
get,
be our,
you're not gonna get, yeah, David and I were talking, I'd love to get my son here. His comment at 30 years old, I'm a single man, coming up here to start a business, there's no life for me other than working myself to death. So, and I was talking to another young man just yesterday that came in the chamber, and his comment was that, his dad moved up here, and part of it was they liked Canocti. And so his dad started a business here, and that's how they developed. And he goes, if Canocti would get going again and active, it might be more fun. But he says, my wife and I leave the county because there's nothing to do here on weekends. And you and I know there's a lot to do here,
Yes,
but
that's
it's not the type of thing that you wanna see a 28 to 35-year-old person wants to do, which is eating out, food hopping, wine hopping,
bar hopping,
yeah,
So,
there's none of that anymore.
yeah.
yeah.
Well, I feel like you touched, understanding the capabilities of the group, I feel like what you're asking for is basically 3 different areas, right?
It is.
Like, one's beautification, one is like infrastructure development, and then the other is kind of touching on what you said, would be like entrepreneurial recruiting, right?
Exactly.
It's finding those niche businesses that we think can work here, but we don't have the people at the moment that are looking to fill those spots. Councilwoman Overton, before.
Yeah, well, I mean, I
Deeper?
agree with, I'd love to see all of that, but it's what our power is as this group. We have to think about what our power is. And I think one of them is as a marketing, is trying to find businesses. I think that actually is something that should be part of our job. We've been focusing more on the activity, this kind of stuff that we're doing right now, which is great to market that, but I agree that is not, we should not be putting those on. Those are something that we should be encouraging other organizations to put on and helping them market them. And how do we take what we already do have and incorporate other things, like you're saying, what do they do? The kite flying thing would be, we used to have the boat shows and the ski things. Is there a reason why we can't bring some of those back? The chamber used to put those on years ago. Is there a reason why we cannot start doing those things? I mean, I realize right now our lake's low, but
Right.
it's not gonna be that way forever. I think those are some things that we might wanna start looking into what we can do in a couple of years, cause the lake will hopefully will be back up. Those are the things that, will bring in the age group that you're
Exactly.
talking about, the boat shows and the skiing and stuff, those bring in that age group there. And if
Mhm.
that's the type of age group we wanna try to get up here to show them what Clearlake's gonna be, this is the place you wanna live, those are more the activities I think we need to bring in and try to market here, to bring in that age group that you're talking about, to bring in those businesses that we see, because it's gonna be that age group that's gonna bring in these businesses. So in order to do that, we have to figure out the activities that age group is gonna want. And I think things like the boat shows and the races and the ski races and stuff like that are definitely something that age group likes to see. They like to see the speed boats, and they like to see the skiing and the activities like that. I think we really need to figure out, how do we bring those back, I think, we probably have a year or so to work on that, but I think this is gonna take a time to work on. But I think that's something that the chamber should really, that's the chamber thing, and I think that, but as a group, as a group, that we all work on this and try to get this type of thing back in.
And to that point, the Antique Boat Society actually is headquartered here in this county.
Yeah.
So, there's absolutely no reason why we can't, either through the chamber or
Right.
marketing, get a hold of them and say, hey, we are very interested in you folks coming back and doing your boat tour.
Okay, so can I add to what
in the
the city
summertime.
could do to help? So you brought up a good point, and I'll use the Wooden Boat Glory Show. When it first got started up here, the chamber was one of the sponsors, and Highlands Park actually we brought in the ramp,
Yeah.
the boat
Yep.
launching that you guys took to Redwood Park. Okay, so, biggest problem and the complaint had been for not only the jet skiers, or the ski races, the jet skiers, is, there was not a good place from shore to watch the boats come in and out. So we had always hoped when Austin Resort got developed down here, when the city bought it, was to keep that harbor dredged out and use that actively for the boats to come in and out to park, so people can walk and stand at Austin's to view the speed skiers coming in and out, to view the fishways coming in and out. The fishways can be done okay at Redbud, but the problem with all the rest is there's not a good viable place to view the events for the public. It can be done, it just hasn't happened, so that's something, if the chamber were to bring something like the speed skiers here, and would the city be able to help with the infrastructure, you know, like, you
Maybe
know,
we need to-
benches, you know what I'm trying to say?
Right, places
So,
for them to sit.
For
and
people
just-
to observe, because that is the biggest problem here in Clearlake versus Lakeport, is you cannot see the event very well. And so,
Well,
and-
you're talking about very specific events, and I get because they're boat and ski related, it makes sense. I think right now we're focused on, do we want to be in the business, essentially, this group of soliciting organizations, finding events and bringing them here?
I don't think until we're ready, and that's what I'm saying.
Right.
We're not ready yet. I was just answering Joyce's question.
That's why I say a couple of years that
Yeah,
we
we're,
have to
I
work on it.
talked to, an event we used to host here that kinda got taken away by the Lake County Chamber, it was the Lakeport Chamber took it away. I found out they're not hosting it this coming year. Part of it is because of the lake level. But I would like to on our chamber level, jump back in and get that event back.
And which one's that?
It's the Big Bass tournament that, we used to host here. And I think it can be done. I already talked to the people at the bait shop, and I talked to one of the, main fishing event people. So we could do that, but I would need support from the city at being able to use all of the Thompson Harbor, getting all that set up. And we're not, this is a little premature, because right now with the lake, we have no place,
Right.
unless we get rain by, the end of December, to say we're gonna put on a fishing tournament.
But
There's
the
no
thing
way
is
to launch.
even if we don't think about it for this next year, okay, so I always look at things as this gives us 2 years to work on a really
Right.
good, big event that, you wanna do, and that gives us time to help market it, help with, I feel like our job is like, you wanna do that, okay, so then what is it that needs to happen to make sure that happens and we market it correctly and that it goes good, that when we market it, that it makes it a big boom, not just a chamber's doing it and they're struggling to get it all out, but that it makes it a big boom all over. And I think what our thing is like, how do we market? Is it just gonna be Clearlake? Is it just gonna be on Facebook? Is it just gonna be on downtown? Or do we need to get a budget, and say, we need to market down in San Francisco, Sacramento, LA? When we have some of these events, I think they need to be marketed more out of our area.
So you wanna
So-
build this committee essentially into an event marketing agency, where,
If we're gonna be marketing the city as like they're talking, they wanna get entrepreneurs, but in order to get those entrepreneurs, you gotta have something for them to do. Okay, cause it's gonna be the
we're
the
having
age
a lot of
group.
chicken and the egg
Right.
situation, I guess. And I had talked about putting together best practices for marketing an event as well. We could go full in on that, for sure, and understand what our marketing channels are, so people will start coming to us saying, I have an event, I wanna
Right.
get the word out. We can say, here's the 5-step process for
Right.
doing that, and we already have the channels established.
Mhm.
So that's an option, right? The other option, it sounds like, is us actually actively soliciting, getting events here. And then the third one, it seems, based on all the conversation, is be active in recruiting entrepreneurs who can bring businesses here.
See, I think with the chamber with the chamber is really more normally to bring the events in and help the businesses flourish. That's, you wanna bring in the outside people so that they eat at their restaurants and shop at their stores and all of that stuff. And I just think that as a marketing committee, we would support that and
Mhm.
help them with marketing it and helping them with whatever. And then, of course, we wanna volunteer individually, that's up to us to help with that kind of stuff. But I think more our marketing is like she, you know, it was to bring in, Stephanie's like, to bring in the entrepreneurs, you know.
Two different things though.
Yeah.
Events and
Right,
and
but what
entrepreneurs.
I'm saying is she's saying she want, that's gonna be the younger entrepreneurs. She's saying that her son won't come because of his age group, there's nothing here to do. I'm saying, well, then we have to create some kind of activities that the young people can come here and do, so that they open up their businesses here and move here. Otherwise, they're not going to. It is all one kind of a circle in a way, you know, you're not gonna get the young people up here if we don't find out what it is they're wanting and what it is that we can provide for them to have them come here and move here and still have things to do that they wanna do.
I just,
So-
I don't think we can solve all those problems.
No, we can't, but I'm just saying it is a circle around, so we need to have, like she said, like we said, we need to decide what it is that we're going to be able to do to help. We're a
I-
marketing committee, to me, it's marketing what we have.
I
Yeah.
still feel like there's still a huge gap in the market for some of the things that she's talking about.
Mhm.
I think there's opportunities here if we find the right people who may not be in this county and present them with the right opportunities, the funding options, the different grants that are available to start businesses here. So I
Right.
feel like that is
Mhm.
an area that we could attack next year and have success with. I think soliciting other organizations to put on events here, and then being the marketing channel for those events
Right.
is something that we could have success
Right.
with.
And I think we need to just stick with a couple of things that are
Right.
gonna be successful,
Right.
you know, and stuff. So, I mean, we already have,
I don't think we can do both.
no, I think these two things we could do.
I don't know,
You don't think we
I
can-
would much rather just pick one and go really hard on it.
So well, of course, we want businesses here, that's the main thing about marketing, is to bring in the businesses, so. But what would be wrong with soliciting, putting out ideas and soliciting other organizations to do them? And us just help them market it.
I just think it divides our focus and,
And I think, I personally think, I mean, this, I've thought this for a long time, and I'm talking not only Clearlake, I'm talking this whole county. When you try, and when you think about restaurants in this county, what do you think? Gee, there's only a couple in Middletown, couple in Kelsey. There isn't one town that has 5 great restaurants, 5 great places to stay, 5 great places to shop. It does not exist in this, and especially, I mean, when you can name on one hand the number of restaurants in this town.
but, so I'm gonna now push back a little bit on that. Like, when we're talking about restaurants and
Mhm.
hotels, that requires so much capital. And the city's already actually doing a pretty good job of
Yeah.
that,
Yeah.
to work with retail
We're looking for
strategies.
the smaller ones, right?
Like, I feel like if we were to do this, it would be the smaller niche businesses, the tourism-centric
Right,
business.
right.
The activities that, when people do come here, they say, wow, you know,
Right.
I did something here
Like,
that
here's
I
a
couldn't
canoe
do.
rental place or a bike
Yeah.
rental place that they can rent
Yeah.
bikes and canoes, which is,
Mhm.
And
that
stuff
one
like
couple that wanted to
we-
do that, I thought that was a great idea.
we can get money for.
Yeah.
We can get investors for.
Mhm.
What we don't have is the able-bodied entrepreneurs who, you know, wanna start
Right.
a scooter rental company
Mhm.
or a bike rental company, right?
Well, just give you an example, there's no lift or reach in this entire county now. So, and that's sad. We have a couple of taxi companies, I wouldn't get in their cars. I
Yeah.
mean, you know, it's like, oh my God, I've often thought about it, I wanna go out to eat and I wanna have a drink. And they've got a car that is older than,
Yeah,
you know, and then I don't mean to knock people that don't
Right.
have it, you know,
but still,
But
if they want a
it's
business,
still-
they need to be appropriate
I wanna be
businesses.
safe getting
Yeah.
home, so part of the thing that, like you were saying, if you were to do a survey right now to bring a chain restaurant up here, and I'm so glad we're getting Starbucks, they wanna see a population of 100,000. When we only have 68 in the entire county, unfortunately, we can't take
58.
in the tourist traffic that comes in and out, when you're doing an active survey for recruiting for a franchise business. So, the idea of the small entrepreneur, a kayak shop, the bike shop, and like I said, lift and reach, things that a person or a couple could start, or, you know, 2 or 3 people could start, that, and actually, I'll be honest with you, we hired Tim Passati, because he had his little catering thing that he was doing. I told him he had to have his business license and health, all that stuff done before we could hire him, he got it done. To me, it's a win-win. We've got now a new caterer, he's also a school teacher. And so he's incorporated his whole family into his catering business. That's the kind of thing, if we could do more of, not the city, not, that, I don't think that's the city's job, but the city's job might be in helping with the permit process, or helping with, like I said, small grant business training, because
Well, I
when
think,
you're getting a small business, you have to be able to write a business plan. And most of the times, those business plans, to get a professional one, they cost money. So if someone were to be able to come to the marketing group here and say, I have this great idea to put in a kayak rental, I wanna get a loan, but I need some expert help, I would hope that maybe this
Well,
is
that's where the
what-
SBA comes in, I mean, that's what I did.
Right, you know,
When I-
that's
when
the
we-
type of
that's-
thing that, but those are the type of thing I would like to see also this marketing committee doing, is to help small businesses.
We can direct them to the
going.
places, but the SBA is very good about doing business plans.
Right,
I mean, I worked with them on one just because I wasn't quite sure, when we were talking about doing a restaurant thing and stuff and analyzing all that, and I hadn't done it for years and years, so I kinda hadn't, so they were a great help to me, you know, to help me through each step and everything, and we met every week and go over, well, what did you do, here's what you need to do, they tell me what to do, the next week I'd meet with them again, so we can direct people into those type of areas.
and I think I'm referring more to not just that. I'll use the property next door to the chamber, that was originally gonna be the brewery, and doing the partnerships with the city. When you're marketing it out, that here is a marketing plan to encourage businesses, if you need help getting through the environmental studies, you need help doing, lake bed management to getting permits, you see what I'm saying? Those are the type of things I'd like to see this committee also look at in the future. Because I'll use kayak rentals, the idea of what's gonna go on at Highlands Park's great, but what, 2, 3, 4 years out? And that's the sad part, I mean, we have the potential, of the 2 lakefront properties, Austin's and, 3 actually, in Redbud, and yet we have no way to launch kayaks or even have an entrepreneur there to do that. So if there would be a way that the city, through a marketing plan, could put up a little hut that can be rented out to somebody that, you see what I'm saying?
Mhm.
And have that, I think those
Yeah.
are things
The
that.
city actually did that,
You know.
several years back, 3 or 4 years back, but a young couple actually rented kayaks, we rented them a space out here they got a permit to rent kayaks out here, cause they wanted to see it, cause I was
Right.
working with them for the little building that we have at the thrift store there, next to the thrift store. I was working with them to, you know, have them come over, we were gonna remodel that and make that their shop.
Right,
And we had an agreement that if they helped us do that, then we would let them have the rent free for a year to see if they could be successful, because we wanna see businesses go
Right.
to. Unfortunately, they split their ways and it didn't keep going, but it was a great idea, you
and
know?
I think that's still possibilities.
So it sounds like we're in 2 camps right now.
We are.
We might not be in 2 camps, but we have the solicit small business and give them a runways guidance to get started. And then we have the event solicitation. And I guess what I wanna do is I kinda wanna either lock in on one and say next meeting, let's come back with a bunch of ideas on how you might wanna implement this. Or we can say, we can stew on both and come back next week, but I wanna be really laser focused.
Yeah,
I don't wanna do both, I wanna really we only meet once a month, I wanna use our time as efficiently as
Right.
possible.
so, and I also think that we also need to look into what other things are already doing some of this stuff, you know?
Right.
We have the Economic Development Committee, I mean, I know, like I said, when I was looking at this restaurant and stuff, I mean, Ellen put me in contact with all kinds of people, so, I
And I
mean, I
think
know
that's
there's a
the-
lot of people out there that already have what you're talking about, that people can go do. Maybe we need to have a list of where they need to go, and instead of that's where the chamber would come in, cause it's a business. You can say, well, here's a list of things, here's a list of people you can contact, maybe we just need to get that list and that the chamber just gives that list out.
Well,
So that's
I
where we're
wanna
not-
take it
yeah.
past that, like, our advantage is we are the hub of a lot of information, right? And if we can put together a program for a specific
Right.
goal, whether that is, our only goal next year is to find a canoe rental entrepreneur, if that's what we decide our goal is, that's fine, what are all the pieces we have to put in place to do that? And that can happen over the course of 2 meetings, we can figure out what
Yeah.
agencies to put together. Same thing with the event stuff, right? Like, we're a hub of information, if we want to do fishing or race cars down Lake Shore, we sort of know the people to connect with. We can be the connectors. Let's do it, we can have some jumps.
Sorry.
So,
See, it's his age group mind that we want, because that's the age group that's gonna come in here, move in here, and have the businesses and everything. So, see, when he says that stuff, automatically tells me that that would draw his age group.
race cars might be
So
extreme,
be
but.
careful
I
what
would-
you say.
So let's close this out. We have
Yeah.
2 options. I wanna think about it. Let's come back next meeting. We'll have this on the agenda to narrow down to one, and then we'll really build out one, what we think either looks like for us. And then the next meeting, we'll say, all right, well, we have kind of what we wanted to what does success mean if we execute on all of this? So just have that in the back of your mind. That's the progression I think we'll have through the end of the year here, and then we can start 2022 really raise our focus.
Yeah, I like that, so.
City Clerk, any public comments on that long business item?
There are no hands raised in the Zoom, Mr. Chair.
Wonderful. Well, thank you all.
So next meeting, you want us to concentrate on,
I want to pick one of the 2.
Did you wanna see these, because we had talked about these at the last meeting?
Yeah, is that, well,
This was the map that you guys talked
why
about.
don't we do that during your report? We talk
Okay.
about that. So any city manager report? Did you want to talk about the photo contest at all?
Sure, we were able to get everyone's input and narrowed it down to the top 10. We informed the top 10, today. Crystal's working on an email and I believe she sent it out. We informed them. The plan is to open, we may not have let them know just yet. Anyway, the plan is to open the Facebook voting at the beginning of November, give everyone a couple of weeks to vote on the top 3, and then present it at the December meeting for the award of prizes.
Wonderful.
So,
Neat.
Awesome job. All right. Mr. Mingora?
Well, you had asked about the map, so, I'm gonna start as soon as I'm done with, the luau on the lake. This is the map
Oh,
that
wow.
we're proposing. The chamber I'll be selling ads around it. This is, how the map will look, and then on the back side, my husband put City of Clearlake, but it would probably say Guide to the South County, cause we're kinda gearing. And then they'll have the calendar of events in here, so each year, the map will basically stay the same, and it's gonna have all the wineries, hiking, public access to the lake. And so anyway, I just brought some copies for you guys
Oh,
to
it's
look at.
amazing. Well done.
And then, this was brought up, it was brought up, and I just wanted to share it with you, if it's something the city might be interested in. I haven't brought it up to the chamber. This is the magazine we used to do. I just grabbed the 2001 issue, we have a few in storage. I seem to have more of this year in storage. The county is not producing the visitor guide through the TID board. I guess they decided not to do it. It is one of the handouts that, that we thought was important. We give a lot out almost every visitor that comes in. They want a map and they want something they can take with them. So we usually give them the map and then we give them the visitor guide. So, my husband, I asked him to take this and get some prices. He has a website that he found that actually takes the magazine and turns it into a web magazine.
Yeah.
So it can be done both ways. And this could be marked the city of Clearlake, or it could be South County. And, we have events in here. We had the business directory, the public directory was listed in here. And we did this once a year at the time.
Yeah.
We received no government. Did it for 13 years. My husband, when he was running for city council, before the November election, we were putting this together. Roy Dufresne, who was printing it, offered to buy it. Fortunately, we sold it to him, because my husband had a massive heart problem, right after, I think, 1st of December. So, and it was sad, because we did everything. We did all the pictures, we did everything in there, because when we came to Lake County, there was nothing here, and my heart has always been to promote this county, and so.
And you've done a good job.
We did it,
You've
and,
done a good job.
it was a hard issue, because my husband did it all.
I've never actually seen a photo of the water park.
Oh, you're kidding.
Yeah.
Oh, I got tons of them. And that's my goofball son in half the pictures.
Well, and you talk about something that brought people to Lake
Oh, that
County.
water park,
I mean, they came from the Bay
everywhere.
Area, everywhere.
You know,
That was the saddest thing to see
Yep.
closed besides Canoctown.
It's so expensive to, insurance alone on that was.
But that wasn't the problem. It was a lot of problem. They had hard money. They couldn't, they're,
It was just a
loan called due.
bad business plan. And
But,
that's what happens.
It's actually, I'll just share with you what was exciting in it. Best Western has in the Middle East, or Midwest, because of tornadoes and weathers, they have 4- and 5-story hotels with water parks in the middle.
Mhm.
And I've actually stayed in 2 of them, and they're incredible. And they usually rent all the rooms around the water park on the ground floor to day use. And I could just picture something like that at Austin's Park, with a huge water park inside. And I would like to see us as a marketing group, that's who we should be going after. Because I think something like that in Lake County, you know, talking to the people putting on Canoctown, they're not going back to concerts. That's the saddest part, but I
Well,
understand
at
the
least not
economics
right
of it.
away,
Yeah,
and probably not outside.
right. And so something that we could do in our city would be to try to market something like that. I know we're trying to get all these other things here, but boy, a top-notch hotel with, like I said, a water park around it would be incredible. So that was my 2 points.
Excellent, thank you. Anyone else have a report? Hearing none. Any future agenda items? City Clerk, I would like to pick up the conversation for 2002 next meeting.
We'll just leave it at just that for the next meeting so that we can end the year kind of on a really focusing, what else do we need to do?
Yeah, I do
Oh, maybe
still wanna talk
update on
about
the
the parade.
Maybe updates or
Yeah.
something, but let's not add anything
Yeah.
new.
Well, that's my thought, is, we'll talk about, December 4th, and we'll talk about the light fight, but then we'll really
Just
drill down
focus
into
on this,
this.
okay.
Yep.
Sounds good to me.
Are we not meeting in December?
We'll find out.
That would be the 15th of December. Just as an FYI.
I don't think we met last year.
I
But-
thought we did.
Can we see how it goes
Yes,
next week?
That's probably
Next
something
month,
we
yeah.
can
Next month?
discuss
Yeah.
with the next month.
When, do we have applications, multiple applications, any applications for the open spot that are qualified?
I have one.
What?
So if anyone knows of anyone that may be interested and is a city resident, please
I don't
pass
know.
them our way.
the gentleman that owns the bait shop, I don't know if they live here in Clearlake, I know they have their business here.
Yeah, but it has to be a resident.
But he kinda indicated he might be interested.
It'd be good, cause he has all contacts with all the bass people, so he
Yeah.
can
Can you
kinda give us
and
that
I-
input.
Talk after about an idea.
Okay.
So,
Based on that. Like, we have a lot of folks who are in the general area who have an interest but can't be on the committee, and I'd really like to activate those folks. Like, I talked to a wonderful woman this week who applied, but actually lives in Kelseyville. There was Krista, I believe was her name, from the last cycle. We need to find a way to capture that energy. Folks are interested.
well, there's, not that they can't come to the
Well,
meeting
and
can't
Kendall
have a,
too, Kendall Foltz
Right,
would be
right.
excellent.
But I think one of the problems is the meeting time. Another problem is there's not really a vehicle right now, it's super informal, and I'd love, you know, I want us to stay really focused on our goals for 2022, but one of the things I wanna work on is figure out a way to create that extra layer, so that we have more firepower
why
and
can't
more
we kinda
minds.
talk at our brainstorming next month about how we can do that? Maybe we can all kind of think about what it is that we can do to involve them.
That'd be great.
Because for them to sit on the committee, they have to live in the city of Clearlake.
Right, so.
That
can-
doesn't mean that we can't encourage them to come and stuff like that, but we can talk about, you know, think of some
Why do they
ideas.
have to live in the city of Clearlake?
Cause it's
Your
a city,
staff doesn't have to live in the city of
cause
Clearlake.
it's a city, but if you're on a committee, you have to live in the city of Clearlake, it's a city committee. But, I mean, I don't know if that can
It
be
Those
doesn't
are
changed.
regulations adopted by the council and the
so-
norms and procedures.
Yeah.
Okay, so that's something the council can change.
It
Good.
can, but quite frankly, I think there's more value in creating that extra layer, where we can invite unlimited folks
Yeah.
to our
Right.
bubble, and then
Yeah.
have that core committee actually be the
Right, right.
determining
Right.
group. Okay,
Yeah.
I